Hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy Halloween. Hi, welcome back. I know you're not here to see me. My name is Jeff DePauli. I'm the host of Disney Coast to Coast podcast. That's Disney with a Z. Today, I have two of the stars from Hocus Pocus, Omri Katz and Vanessa Shaw. Come on out.
Brought some black flame candles for y'all.
Black flame candles.
Hey!
Set those here for now.
Create
That's great.
the mood.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh man, let's get cozy here. We gotta.
Cozy
Thanks for
and
coming out,
comfy.
everybody. I know there's other stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff to do here. So thanks so much for coming out. I know it's for them. Excited to have you here. And back in 2018, I actually did a panel for the 25th anniversary of Hocus Pocus with a lot of the creators and Thora Birch. And the first question I asked is the first question I'm going to ask you. It's the most important question. What is your favorite Halloween candy?
Any candy that's vegan and chocolate.
Okay. What is a good vegan chocolate candy? I don't even know.
There's barely any, brand. Ghirardelli, 70% chocolate, but that's not going to be in a Halloween box or, bag.
It's better than like a toothbrush or something. So take the Ghirardelli.
Or any razors and apples or something.
Oh God! Wow. When real dark.
Right?
Did that ever happen? My parents scared me stiff about that.
Only
but
in the
I've never
movies.
got an apple with a razor in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a thing.
I totally remember that as a kid. Like, if any package was opened or tampered with, don't eat that, because people were poisoning children, I guess.
If you want to go down
Now
to
it's
I don't
only
know.
packaged because of COVID. I mean, we don't know what's happening.
if you want to go down a rabbit hole, go to YouTube and type in vintage Halloween safety videos. They're honestly, who's done that?
Wait,
Yes.
seriously?
Oh yeah, they're awesome. They're really, really good. We are so off topic, and we just started.
Omri, what's your favorite?
Omri, what about you?
My answer is going to be very similar to Vanessa's, but I would probably say Sour Patch Kids, because even though they are not food, they are vegan.
So fair enough. Now, guys, it has
We're
been
vegan buddies.
Vegan buddies.
It has been 29 years
Jeez Louise.
since the release of Hocus Pocus, which means you shot it 30 years ago.
Don't
No,
remind
it
us.
was 5 years ago.
Don't remind us how old we are.
Was there any inkling to you whatsoever when you were making this iconic film that you would be talking about it 30 years later? Was there any spark or notion of this is something special? We all know the story. It was a flop, right? But obviously it became something huge. Did you feel that on set at all, or was it just another gig?
I felt it on set. We all thought it was going to be something huge. Kenny Ortega was coming off of Newsies, which was a great film, and
Great film, big flop again. I'm honestly shocked.
But I love that film.
100%.
I love
After the fact too.
Hello, I got my Newsies cap on. But I was surprised he got the Hocus Pocus job because Newsies was such a big flop.
Yeah, but you know how many directors get jobs after flops? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
He's
believe,
actually
and
legitimately talented.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe he had a picture deal with them.
Gotcha.
So they were contractual.
Okay.
In order to do some stuff with them. And I don't think I personally it was another gig. I didn't realize 30 years later we would be sitting here and there would be such a huge following. And it's quite impressive.
Very
insane.
cool.
Yeah, because even after it was a flop, it wasn't like it rejuvenated all at once. It was about 10 years later. And I was talking to someone out on the floor the other day, and I was like, you know why? I think it's because, it was 1993 when it came out. And then about 10 years later, 2003, 4, 5, is when it started the resurgence of it. And I feel like it's because everyone who were kids at the time started having kids. And then the movie started playing in their homes again. And then Disney Channel was coming out around late 90s. And then, ABC Family, which became Freeform, was around that time. So I feel like it was just everywhere. And then Halloween itself became a huge event, which I don't think growing up it was that big of a deal either. So anyway, I think those things combined made it, just that much more helpful for us to have this like, huge, amazing groundswell of fandom for this movie.
And of course, the iconic witches, which is such a popular costume and just so Halloween oriented. And I think that really just helped it grow to what it is today as well.
Yeah.
Where did you two grow up? Like, I know Halloween kind of takes... Halloween is bigger in certain parts of the country for sure. So, like, where did you grow up and celebrate Halloween?
It's funny because, we say Halloween here in California. I don't know why.
Okay.
But that really shows that my character was not from the East Coast because I'm like Halloween, but instead of Halloween. But
Massachusetts
anyway,
here.
So, exactly. So seriously, we both are California kids.
Okay.
He grew up in the Valley. I grew up basically near the Valley in Topanga Canyon. So because I grew up in a canyon, I couldn't really trick or treat, so I had to go to the Valley where there were actual neighborhoods.
Probably
trick
to
or
my
treat.
neighborhood.
Probably to his neighborhood, that's right.
I was like literally at the base of Topanga. We were practically neighbors growing up.
It's
and
true.
didn't know each other.
Another thing that seems... I don't know if
We
this
didn't
is
hang out though.
I don't know if this is a movie thing or a SoCal thing, but like I remember as a kid, Massachusetts Halloween was always, after dark. And I remember watching E.T. and be like, why the hell are these kids trick-or-treating during daylight? Was that like a SoCal thing? Did people do that?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember daylight. I remember it always being in the evening.
It should be after dark. And then they changed daylight savings and bumped it a week or something, so it made it lighter later. I was so pissed as a kid, I can't even tell you. It's ridiculous.
Why do we even still have daylight savings?
I don't
It's
daylight
No, we
savings
got to keep
time.
it for the movie. Then that's not going to be a funny joke if kids in the future don't know what daylight savings is.
It's very
And
possible.
you're like, daylight savings time. And then people are like, huh? We already have the cross strainers out of date, so let's not do something else.
You can Google daylight savings time if it doesn't exist anymore.
right.
Find out everything you need to know.
So how did it start? Was it typical audition stuff for you guys? Did you end up doing a chemistry read together for the film, or?
I was supposed to do a chemistry read with Leonardo DiCaprio,
Oh, hello.
but he was busy. And it was just
93,
me and
bro.
Omri, and then it was like, hey, you guys just want to do it anyway? That's what it was. It was barely anyone else. It was just me and you, right? Did you read with anyone else? Because they hired him, and then, the girls or whatever were supposed to wait for Leonardo DiCaprio, and then it was just me and you. I don't know.
I kind of have some vague memories of that. I remember, I believe I did 2 screen tests, but like I auditioned several times. And then I didn't hear from them for like months. And I was like, okay, so I didn't get that project. And then one day I got a call, like, are you still interested in the work? And I think that's when they brought us in together to do a screen test and see how we, our chemistry. And then,
Which I have no
and then we were
memory
in,
Do you
I know.
remember? I have no recollection of the
Vague,
actual
like-
chemistry test at all.
I have like, vague memories. Like I have this vivid image of like where we were and how we did it, but that's kind of it.
Me too. I remember the waiting room, but not
Yeah.
the actual pod. Anyway,
It was a long time ago.
No, it's only a few years ago. My audition was with Kenny Ortega, and after reading the script, I was so excited, and I went in and read for him, and he just was like, "Thank you very much." And then I was walking out to the parking lot at Disney Studios, and he runs out and goes, "Hey, Vanessa, can you come back and read again?" And so I read again. He just directed me in a different way, and then I was like, "Oh, I think I'm going to get this part," because at first I was like, "Oh, well, anyway." And then he was like calling me back, and asked me to do it again. And then later on, I was doing the chemistry test, but. That's how Kenny Ortega was. He was just super excited if he really liked you. And so I could feel the energy coming from that second time he pulled me back into the room. But most directors would never run out after you. He's just a very hands-on director that way.
That's very cool. Now, when you got the script and you read through it, once again, was it something that felt, I guess a few questions. Was it something that felt special, or was it once again another job? And, just because you're in this Halloween movie, Sorry, Halloween, so whatever.
No, now I say Halloween. I
Halloween.
don't know why.
What do y'all say?
Changed my
Halloween or
accent.
Halloween? Halloween? All right.
Even though it's spelled with an A,
I'm going to start saying
it's
Halloween.
not hollow, it's hallow.
Hallow. There we go.
It's just our
Hollow.
weird California accent. I know.
So when you read the script, does it feel special? And were you Halloween fans? Because it's a weird thing where you're in this movie that's become a classic, so everybody kind of just assumes you're a big fan of the holiday. But like honestly, were you?
I would say at the time, I wouldn't say I was not a fan, but I wasn't like way into Halloween. It wasn't like something I was looking forward to, I guess, except for the candy maybe. Yeah, I think when I read the script, I kind of just looked at it as another job. I don't recall it like really speaking out to me like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's kind of my take on it.
I think I was not a Halloween fan either. I know I hate to disappoint everyone. I literally was never planned my outfit. I was like the day before going to my mom's closet trying to figure out what I was going to be, and I would always be like a scary person. And that was it. Just not organized. And when I read the script, it was actually, I don't know if you remember, it was actually written more scary.
Yes.
And so when I got the part, I don't know, this is hard to know in our teenage brains to remember, but whether it changed before, the screen test into more comedic. But I just remember the original script, reading it and going, ooh, it's spooky and scary, more like Wizard of Oz versus like comedic. And then all of a sudden it just changed and flipped into this really funny movie. So I think that's the lucky part, is that it changed, because otherwise it could have really not been seen ever again.
I kind of wonder if like the witches had an influence on
Right.
the rewrites, given they kind of have like comedy backgrounds, Bette and Kathy especially. Maybe that kind of
That's true, because
played a
Kathy's
role in
comedy, complete comedy. So.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't
And
written
Bette,
for
too.
It wasn't written for Disney, and I think that was the thing. It was sold to Disney, and so it was a screenplay before Disney was involved. This is what I understand anyway. This is what Mick Garris, the screenwriter,
Maybe we should
said.
interview you.
I know.
I
I know.
Or any of you.
Tell us about Hocus Pocus.
Well, let me-
and
More than
how
Let me
this
tell you.
knows.
According to the screenwriter, no, it was written a lot darker before Disney got involved, and then it became more family friendly. But still a lot of virgin talk for Disney for some reason. We'll get to that. But yeah, no,
I'm out.
it was. Made you a little PTSD there, right? That's great. So, I mean, what is the thing I love about Halloween is that it's a holiday that everybody celebrates differently. Some people, their favorite part is dressing up. Some it's the candy. Some it's the theatricality. Kind of curious, what is your favorite part of the holiday?
You're asking the wrong people, John.
You still, you haven't.
I think it's going to turn around because I have a 4-year-old, and once he's really conscious of Halloween,
Halloween.
Anyway, so I think I'll find joy through him.
Okay.
But I do have to say, growing up in Topanga, there was my elementary school fair, which I loved, and we bobbed for apples, did all the Topanga
Love that.
crazy, weird hippie slash.
sack or what are they
Yeah,
called?
yeah,
Potato sack
jumping.
race?
That was the most fun, was like doing a carnival or something with all my friends and, running around until dark.
See, you
See?
celebrated. No, I love that. I remember my elementary school did a big Halloween party. Oh God,
It's fine.
It's
Halloween.
You don't- no,
Let's
use your
decide,
accent.
folks. It's Halloween, and that's that.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Go get in the car. It's all good. How about for you? Did you have any specific? You're a horror movie guy. I can totally see you sitting at home with the friends watching the horror movies.
You got the wrong information.
Okay.
But for me, I think, just in general over how... Were you saying something?
I'm just saying, go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway, I was just saying that I think seeing how inspired people get and how creative people get with costumes, and
Yeah.
regardless how serious you take it or not, I always was amused by just how cool that could be.
That's awesome.
Just in terms of people just dressing up and
yes.
going full force, you know?
Now I'm remembering in my like late teens or early 20s going to WeHo and seeing the Halloween basically show on every Halloween, beautiful costumes and how people really do it versus me and my last minuteness.
Yeah, WeHo on Halloween is intense for sure. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you remember this, but do you know where production started? Was it out here in California, or were you in Salem?
Yeah, we did Salem for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think 2
And
weeks,
that
and
was-
then
just
the rest
talked to
was done out
Bill,
here.
the
I was go-
production designers
Yes.
here, Bill Sendell.
Yes, Bill
Of
Sendell, the
Hocus
production
Pocus.
designer in the front row. Give a wave. Give a wave. Hey.
And I was like, can you help us? Because you were older than 16. And we're like, where were we? So we were in Salem for a week.
Okay.
And then did the rest of the production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 2 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
But pretty much all here.
I want to hear about Salem. So was it your first time in Salem, and what was, I mean, Salem's amazing. I grew up 20 minutes from there.
Yeah.
And it's awesome year round. And you guys were actually shooting around Halloween time, which was really cool. And what was it, Bill, the 100th anniversary of the hangings?
300th.
The 300th anniversary of the hangings. So like you were there for a historic time. I don't know if you're thinking about that as teenagers, but like, was it a really cool, like, did Salem feel different than shooting out here?
Oh yeah, I mean, because the autumn leaves were just vibrant, as anyone who's from the East Coast knows. It's like that is the prime time to go out and see them, and use that element as a background for this film. And yeah, I enjoyed it completely because I learned so much when I was in school learning about the beginnings of America and the American Revolution, and got to go to the Boston Commons and see that, and then because we flew into Boston and then went to Salem, and then so everything was an educational thing for me. And I was laughing though telling the story of the Salem Witch Museum. I know a lot of people have visited Salem. Who's seen the Salem Witch Museum?
Yep.
Any of them?
Many
Oh my
times.
God, isn't it the funniest museum ever? I'm like, what is this museum? It's so bad. It's like bad good. They have wax figures, people like, stoned to death and all these things. And they're like, but the figures are falling over and they're just like melted from, I don't know, when they began this museum, but they have not updated apparently. I asked every fan who's been there and they said, nope, still bad. And I'm just like, and they have people pay for this thing. I just can't believe they haven't updated it. But maybe they just appreciate how kitschy it is or not, and they just don't care. But that was the most vivid thing for me. I don't know if that was what you were expecting. The
I
autumn
love
leaves
that
and the
answer.
Salem Witch Museum and how bad it was. Yeah.
That's amazing. One of my favorite shots in Salem is when she gives you the phone number back and you're walking away and you put the red hood over your head, and just that shot with you and all the leaves. And Bill, did you?
So iconic.
Was that?
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday,
Yeah.
yeah.
Most romantic, beautiful shot in the whole movie.
Aw.
I
Yeah.
had nothing to do with it.
Did you?
I know,
Did
right?
you dress those trees, or was that all natural?
It
Supplemented a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember some of the leaves on the ground being, but
That beautiful red hood you were wearing.
the red hood, oh my gosh. I think I was offered to keep that and I said no.
What?
A weird lady.
Oh my gosh.
I have so many regrets. Anyway,
Omri, how about you? Any memories of Salem other than the decrepit wax museum?
I did not visit the decrepit
no, it
wax
was just
museum.
me and my mom and our studio teacher. At the
It's
time.
hilarious.
For me, yes, that was kind of my first experience, I think, like actually having seasons, because here in California it's one season.
It's true. Very true.
And so I was very appreciative of like the landscape, and obviously the autumn colors and everything was really beautiful. And visiting some of the landmarks like Walden Pond was very
Yes.
inspirational. And being 16, I don't know, you're not really thinking about that kind of stuff, but I do remember that really standing out for me. And even till today, it's still inspirational.
I remember, I've lived out here for a long time, and I went back one autumn after like over a decade, and the thing that hit me that I had forgotten about was the smell of dead leaves. And I got this crazy ass sense memory when like I got that, and I was like, this is amazing. And I remember like having to rake those things up as a kid and clean the yard. I was like, why would anybody clean this up? It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it so much, but in any case.
Well, that memory is triggering my memory of if I smell mulch or any sort of deep dirt smell, I think of the Hocus Pocus set. Because Bill brought in all these trees that were, appropriate for Hocus Pocus and Massachusetts. And that smell forever will remind me of that. See, that reminds you of home. This reminds me of the Hocus Pocus set. Because, again, as Omri says, we don't have seasons here, and we definitely don't have any autumn leaves. So that's my beautiful memory, is that smell of Hocus Pocus set.
Have you been back to Salem or that area at all?
I've been back to Massachusetts, but not Salem.
No.
Not for 29 years, down to the day. No.
I love it.
Good answer. I have not either, but I'm actually going to be there in October. First time in 29 years. Actually,
for
30
fun?
years because we filmed in 92.
Yeah.
And it was released
Oh, that's
in 92.
right.
So, yeah. So
30.
Are you going
years
for like a
down to the-
convention or?
it's not a convention. I'm doing a kind of a private signing. I don't remember the details off the top of my head right now. And yeah, I'm doing a few small events out there.
That's awesome.
And yeah, go check it out. See how it goes.
Very cool. So yeah, we're talking about Salem, but how about, you mentioned Bill's set. You shot in the Walt Disney Studios lot, and I mean that set is gorgeous. The witch's cabin is gorgeous. Do you have any memory of walking onto that set the first time, the cemetery, and just like, was there an oh wow, holy crap, what, like this is a different kind of movie. This ain't Ladybugs, like this is like a Hollywood set sort of thing, not just on location.
I don't know if I remember the first time, but wow, every day you'd go onto the set and the details, Bill was just reminding me, it's like you walk in, there's the river and, the cement river that it becomes too. And, the water wheel. I mean, we loved it so much that our family took our family holiday photo in front of the house.
Oh wow.
And I think my sister, if I remember correctly, like put her head through the guillotine, and we were like, yeah, that's cool. Anyway, you guys would love that, but our family did not, because you're horror fans. But just, again, it wasn't like a facade. Like most movies, you have a facade of the house, and then separately there's the actual inside. But the inside and the outside, and the details, and the spider webs, and then Billy's graveyard was over here, and I know, isn't it exciting? And going through the hole when we have to jump through the hole underground was like, and that, I literally remember every part of the design, and that was all Bill. And again, it was just like every bit of the set looks like a bigger part of what it was, but you never get that on films anymore. And, the practical sensory thing of the whole set. And, we didn't have to imagine people too much off in the distance. They were physically there, or except for the witches, sorry. We were young, and anyway, there's a long story about, child labor laws. But just every day being able to experience, the vastness and the actual literal set in its form that you see on screen was really cool.
For me personally, yeah, same thing, not like primarily like the first day, but I feel like every time we got to work on that set or in that house or in that setting was truly impressive. Like Vanessa was mentioning, just like the details. Like it was so rustic, and it just really looked like a 300-year-old house. Like there was not really much like styrofoam or like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call it, but like it was literally a full structured house.
No breakaway walls.
Yeah, no
It's just
breakaway
everything
walls.
was-
Exactly.
Didn't Michael Jackson want it? Is that true, Bill?
Told me one day.
Yeah, Michael Jackson wanted it. I wish Disney put it.
Kenny Ortega's is,
Oh, that's right, Kenny Ortega.
Yeah, Kenny Ortega did a lot of his music videos. He choreographed. They became close after, and then he choreographed his last concert. Right.
Yep.
This is it.
This is it.
voice
Yep.
is the last
Directed
voice
that.
you hear on that spooky thing when they were
Yeah, he was just saying that Kenny Ortega's voice, if you've seen This Is It, the Michael Jackson documentary of his final concert, Kenny Ortega's is the last voice you hear, and then he directed that, so it's pretty cool. But he did not get the cabin. It just got destroyed, which is ridiculous. Disney should have I know, I heard a gasp, I know.
They could have taken it to like Disneyland.
Should have gone to Tom Sawyer
but
Island.
you guys, we're the stepchild of Disney. We're not.
It was a
considered-
flop. You were released in July. They did not care. All they worried
did not
about
care.
was Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. But
Yeah, that was their strategy, and it obviously failed.
yeah.
I was going to just add on top of that, like previously I worked on Erie, Indiana.
Yeah.
And coming from that production, which had also just the most incredible sets and cast and amazing, insane stories, I guess walking onto the Hocus Pocus set, I just kind of felt right at home or something, because I was just like, oh, one weird thing to the next weird thing,
Yeah.
and
True.
That's awesome.
it's all good.
True.
Now, you two were the closest in age in the cast. Were you two hanging out the most, or like was Thora like I don't know, was she hanging out with you guys? Or, she was considerably younger.
Yeah, Thora was 10, playing 8 years old, and we were 16. But I feel like Thora and I were pretty close because I had my sister was 14 at the time. I mean, she was 11 at the time, so not too far in age. So I felt like a sisterly relationship with her. And interestingly enough, because we were kids, we had bedtimes, and we were still 16. We weren't 17 or 18 really yet. I mean, Omri drove, but I didn't drive yet. I saw Omri on the freeway in his VW bus one time with me in the passenger seat. Hey, we're on our way to
Smoke
work.
coming out the windows.
Totally Grateful Dead playing. But, so we went home, went to bed. And, well, you guys were out of school, but I had school the next day. I was in public school. If I wasn't working on set, I was going to school. So I only remember hanging out with Omri when you invited me over to your birthday party or some sort of event at your house with your family, and I met his whole family. But Thora lived way out in like some ranch, so it was hard to get together with her 2 hours away, I think. Wow. And then they had like a place in LA. So, sorry, sounds very boring, but we didn't hang out, okay?
All right.
All the time. We did everything together. We had, we were roommates, and we carpooled.
We should have carpooled, you and me.
She doesn't remember it. I remember.
Let's talk about someone I'm sure you did not hang out with, but it would be ridiculous to talk about this movie and not talk about her. Working with Bette Midler. I mean, at 16, do you get this is Bette Midler? And
No.
just kidding, Vanessa got it. Omri was like, oh, I'm listening to Grateful Dead, right? What is? I mean, Bette Midler. What is that like? I mean, did you interact with her off camera? You had a lot of scenes with her, a lot.
Actually, we didn't.
The cemetery. You had some epic scenes in the cemetery.
You guys did. I didn't.
But, well, even so, though, that was kind of just like filmed in a very short period of time, because you know how they jump around the script, for production and efficiency. So they'll film like whatever type of scenes, like all kind of compacted in that 1 week or two. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, we didn't really work with them. So, and a lot of times they were like hanging on the harness or doing that kind of stuff. So I didn't feel like we actually got to work super, super close
And
with them all
this
the time.
goes into what, I don't know if you all know, but child actors can only work 10.5 hours a day. And so literally when we were done, and they were in 4 hours of makeup. So the time we saw them was in the makeup trailer, and our makeup trailer was connected to Kathy's and Sarah Jessica's. So we would talk to them more than Bette Midler's, because hers was in a separate area. And so I feel like I know Kathy and Sarah Jessica more, and Sarah Jessica's really cool with me. She was on Broadway as a child. She's like, oh, so you're so young starting out. Is this something you want to do for the rest of your life? And I'm like, yeah, give me any advice. This is my second movie. And, but I feel like, the one scene I remember clearly for me was the salt scene.
Yeah.
Because all three of them were there, and I I was so nervous because I'm like, we barely have any scenes with them because basically we never saw them. We were having to imagine them in the sky and they were imagining us on the ground, I'm sure. And so all three of them are in this scene and I'm like the last one called to set and they're already there. And I was like, crap, I'm just like, and I'm like, I did one swirl of the salt and Kenny's like, really get into it, like pour. And I was like, oh, thank you. I can release my nervous energy. And I was like, because they're all like doing their thing. And I was like, they're so good. And then I had to be, brought out of it. And I was just like, okay, good. Salt is getting me into it. But that was literally the only one. And then I think Thora, with her being lifted into the sky at the very end, was her only one really too. It was really because, again, they were in the sky and we were on the ground and it was easy to separate us and do us at different times.
I put a spell on you? Were you not there for that?
We were, but they were already on the stage. We were like basically background, We were with the whole other cast. That was a very exciting moment in the filming because it was just
I remember that really well.
Pull out all the stops, bands and everything. And, Kenny's was originally a choreographer. So he's just like, and 5, 6, 7, 8. We're like, wow. Like, it was just like, where are we? So that was special. That scene for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Max, for that marvelous introduction. So good.
Yeah, we knew that number was spectacular. We could feel that in our bones.
That's awesome. Now, Thora Birch actually said when I interviewed her once that you were jealous of her because she got to fly and you didn't, although you did get to fly toward the end of the film. But is there any truth to that, or is she making this up?
I'm pretty sure I said that.
Okay. Yeah.
You mean
because I'd never been in a harness, and then subsequently a few years later was, and I was like, this sucks.
Wait,
Nobody ever wants to be in those things. They hurt.
Bette was holding me up and turns into a statue.
So you get to fly a little bit.
So I did, yeah. I guess I got to fly. I wasn't really flying, I was hanging.
You were hanging.
More like that.
Okay.
Which is interesting because when you're wearing a harness and it's like riding up that area.
It really
you're
is
kinda
not.
Like, this is not very comfortable. And then there was obviously that other scene where she throws me up against the wall and lifts me up, and that was same thing. That was, I don't know how they did it, but like same thing, harness and pulleys and something, dragged me along the floor and then basically were raising me up up the wall, and not very comfortable, but movie magic at its finest.
Yeah.
I love that scene. I mean, the cabin we were talking about earlier, but I just love the scene where, the spell happens and the floorboards start moving and the green light shines through. And
My favorite scene.
that is like visually stunning, like
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. And I remember it in all the commercials and everything. And I was like, yeah, that's a really, really great scene. But we got to talk for a second about virgins.
Mic drop.
I'm curious.
Am I still a virgin?
No.
Yes, I am. Any,
No, I'm curious to get your
Wanna take that away
opinions
from me?
on something. I'm wondering, do you think the spell would have worked if Allison lit the candle?
well, I don't know. I mean, were you a virgin?
No, thanks.
A character at least?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it would have
I think
worked.
she was a virgin character, right?
Speak for yourself.
I'm asking. It's a question.
She's not.
Obviously, I was.
A woman does not share her secrets.
Max was. But do you think Max was by the end of the movie?
Dang.
Okay.
Wait to find out in the sequel.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, we wish. No, there are theories out there, and I'm going to plug a very good book, and it's shameless because a very good friend of mine wrote it. It's called Hocus Pocus and Focus, and there's a whole theory about
Focus.
the
Oh yeah, I remember
Max by the end is not a virgin because the theory is this.
We are interviewing him.
Yeah, no, the theory is this, that the word children, if you replace it with the word virgin in the film, come little children. So she's singing come little virgins. So the children that are taken by the spell, by the song, are virgins. By the end of the film, Max is not affected by that song. Also, Max drinks this potion, and when she sucks the soul out of him, as we've seen her do with Emily, it doesn't work. He ain't a virgin.
Sorry, I have some vague memories, but doesn't it like start to work and then?
No, he becomes, you get the glow around him,
Yes,
but
so-
she sucked more out of Emily than she did out of Max. So if Max was a virgin, that would have worked. Listen, I didn't write the script.
But what
This could be
about
all
Thor?
BS.
It's Disney, so we
Well,
can't.
Thora was a virgin.
But she would have been under the spell too. But
No,
she was covering.
she didn't
her
drink the
ears.
potion.
Oh, the potion.
The
Right.
potion, yeah. In any case, read
See,
the
we
book.
gotta interview you.
Here's the thing. I think not a virgin by the end of the film, never a virgin. That's my theory personally.
Never since birth.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
We'll let you guess for yourselves.
So, I mean, you worked with some pretty cool special effects. We talked about the flying, but also Billy Butcherson. I love the scene where,
We
especially,
love Doug Jones, by the
Doug
way.
is
He's the best dude
an
in the
angel
world.
and the best guy ever.
Sorry to cut you off.
no, and you get to see him like cut his mouth open, and the real
The
moths
real
come
moths.
flying out.
See, that's so cool too.
So many special effects, so many makeup effects. Do you have any like just specific memories about kind of favorite days or things that took a billion times to shoot? You know, like 10 takes or whatever.
Well, you mentioned my favorite scene and then went on to the virgin part, but my favorite scene is the scene when you light the candle and the light bulbs go out and the floor starts shaking. There's green lights coming through it. The wind starts blowing. The eyes going, you know. So being literally on a set that had practical effects like that was so cool to me. I was just blown away. Like, I was a kid, and this is my second movie, and I was just like, I cannot believe I'm in a movie, like a movie that, because I grew up watching Wizard of Oz and all these Disney movies I watched, like That Darn Cat or Flubber, like those movies where there's special effects that are practical. And I was like, wow, I'm doing one of those kinds of movies right now. And I just remember after every take it would just be, whoosh, and then we stopped, and then Thor would do a virgin with the black flame candle, and we just all bust up at the end, just how funny she was, my God. So not only was it the practical effects, but it was her and her button statement in the end of that scene. That was my favorite days.
That's awesome. How about you?
Yeah, I kind of feel like anytime we got to work in the house in general, that scene
Yeah.
and pretty much any scene, I think we were all just kind of like, just in awe. Yeah, Burning Rain of Death. Yeah, and I didn't do all my own stunts. Sorry to disappoint you guys. But yeah, I just felt like anytime we got to work on that set was just like the best time.
That's awesome. Now, obviously here people recognize you, but in everyday life, do people recognize you for Hocus Pocus? And if so, is there like a line from the film that they want you to say?
For me, it's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
That's probably the most popular.
Come on, say it with some feeling. Don't disappoint these people.
It's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus.
Boom.
Better? Thank you. Thank you. And the Oscar goes to?
Yeah, people always go up to me and go, wait, I know you, oh my God, I know you. The girl from Hocus Pocus. And then that's what they say, the girl from Hocus Pocus. And then I think they think of a line and they get shy and then they go, wait, no, okay, ha, it's you. So you know what line they're thinking of, the Yabo's line, even though it's not mine. But they're like, oh yeah, yeah. So how was it doing that movie? So that's it. That was never the line that I say.
That's
It's
awesome.
yours.
That's great. When's the last time you were with Thora? I remember seeing you, I believe, the 25th anniversary in the cemetery, because that's a normal place to hang out. But have you guys been together since then? Because, I mean, the three of you together must make fans' heads explode.
I think the last time we all three hung out together was the 20th anniversary. We went out to dinner afterward. Was that? Or
Didn't we do the?
Oh, we did the 30th anniversary.
Yeah,
I mean, the
25th,
25th.
yeah.
Yeah, with the cemetery.
I think that was the last time. I've hung out with Thora because she's, come over and met my son, and yeah, we still have a great relationship. And I never hang out with Omri still.
I'm
And-
too cool to hang out with. Vanessa. Too busy.
No,
too
but now
cool.
we get to hang out at these things, which is
Yeah,
so
it's great.
fun. I
It's really
just
great.
love being with him. And so the three of us together officially was, I guess, 4 years ago.
Pretty
I
cool.
guess so. Yeah. Or didn't we do the 20?
But we're always
was like the-
we're on a group chat together, so.
Oh, are you
And then-
really?
Yeah.
And then there was like
That's kinda cool.
There was a 30th anniversary for Ghostbusters at the cemetery,
Cemetery, yeah.
and I think all three of us were there as
No,
well.
it was just you and me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Sure, wasn't there?
And Salt and Pepper and really cool people like
Oh, that's right, Larry and
like
Tobias,
Christina
but it
Aguilera. I was
just
like,
us.
"Hi,
yeah.
nice
You're
to
right,
meet
you're
you.
right.
What is going on?"
You're
That
right.
was when I realized this is beyond. And like the Osbournes were hosting. I was like, "You guys know this movie?" And apparently Christina Aguilera loves this movie. And I was like, dying.
When do you think that blew up? I think you kind of mentioned it earlier, like early 2000s is when the film kind of blew up for you guys again.
Yeah, it's hard to recall, but it feels like that's when it came and started building steam again. It was like mid 2007-ish. I don't know. What do you guys think? Disney Channel.
Disney
you too?
Channel.
And,
yeah.
and DVD release, probably, you know.
Yeah, VHS.
Maybe there's
come on.
someone who can really do a proper
VHS
study of
might
this.
have ignited.
Blockbuster.
Definitely DVD amped it up.
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster Video. What a
What a
difference.
difference.
Oh my God, I love you so much right now. The fact that you know the Blockbuster jingle just made my day. I'm gonna admit something that like I probably shouldn't admit right now, but like I had a crush on both of you. So I'm telling you, Ladybug's Matinee and Hocus Pocus was like, for me. So,
You're a
yeah.
jam.
So I was a confused kid, but I figured it out. But
Aw, that's
so like
awesome.
this is kind of weird and surreal. But why would you say that out loud in public? I don't know. So folks, we all know there's a sequel. I'm sure you probably know they're not in it. Wah, wah.
Or are we?
Let's start that rumor. Laughing Place. Laughing Place. You got that, Laughing Place? Come on, publish that. All right. So yeah, no, you're not in the sequel, but obviously I'm going to assume you're going to check it out, look forward to it. But I want to know, are you surprised that it's actually happening? Because it's been discussion for probably 15 years now. And I know that it went from being a Disney Channel movie to now being a Disney Plus movie, even though it should go theatrical. But there's been a lot of different versions. Are you shocked that it's finally happening?
I think I was shocked when it finally came through, but you could feel, okay, this is really going to happen at some point in the last few years. I think it makes sense. It's coming out towards the 30th anniversary. And yeah, I feel like, first of all, I think you can't do this movie without the three witches. So I think all three of them were ready to do it again. You know, they were in different parts of their career, and I feel like, okay, now it's time for them. So yeah, and I'm excited to see it.
Awesome. Are you surprised?
Not really, just because, like you mentioned, it was in the works or talked about for, I would say, at least a decade. And I heard all kinds of different rumors, like Tina Fey was going to direct it. And
Oh yeah,
weird stuff like that.
That was
And-
in 2019. I was like, oh.
And then
Can't
it
wait.
kind of came to fruition, and here we are now. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, because I just felt like that was the next step for them. I didn't really put two and two together about like almost 30th anniversary. Maybe that's why they kind of timed it, or maybe they just couldn't figure out the right script, because a lot of people thought it was, isn't there like a book that's kind of, and I thought that's what people were like, oh, they're going to write a script based kind of off of that
Right.
we're, you know, our future,
Our
our
children,
kids,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And they obviously went down a whole nother path.
Were either of you contacted at all about the sequel? Like, was there any trying to get a cameo in or anything like that?
No, but
No.
I think Thora was. Yeah.
All right. So,
But none of us were.
what are they thinking? Mistake.
I think a lot of people are disappointed just because they're such fans of the first movie. They were like, not even a cameo? Like, I don't know. I could have been the janitor or a waiter at a restaurant. Or
That was
something,
funny.
whatever. It doesn't
A
matter.
janitor, huh? Like, yeah.
Hey, I'm really good at mopping, just so you all know.
Well, you
No,
may not be in the movie sequel, but Max and Allison, as you mentioned, are in Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel, which was a 2018 book. Has anybody read it? Anybody familiar with it? A few of you. This was a book released by Freeform Books. Disney owns Freeform, so this is canon. It's real. And Max and Allison have a 17-year-old daughter in that. Is that how you imagined Max and Allison? I'm sure you stay up at night thinking about this, right?
High school sweetheart.
Yeah,
High
did you
school
think that,
sweethearts?
like, did you think if there ever were a sequel that Max and Allison would still be a thing? Or did it kind of surprise you that they've written them together still? You don't think about it. It's fine.
No, I mean,
It's fine.
no. I would, well, not from my point of view, but like, Disney stories are usually have that kind of like happy ending,
Right.
like traditional, like it's not like, oh, Max and Allison are divorced and, and there's
Trying to
custody,
figure
there's a
out
custody,
joint custody.
battle and I'm taking you to court and, I don't think that would have played very well, so.
So the janitor is no longer a virgin. They have a 17-year-old, and that's
We live happily ever after. I feel like they would have. I feel like Thor and I talked about this. We're like, yeah, Max would have wanted to move back to California. He hated Massachusetts. He would have never stayed. But
For
she's
Allison,
a
he might
Massachusetts,
have.
right?
Been like,
But he
I
was-
love this woman. I'm staying wherever she is.
That's true. So that would be the only way, because she's such an East Coast girl. Apparently, like her mom ran the Sanderson Sisters Museum, so she's kind of embedded in her hometown.
That would have been awesome if the museum was open again in the sequel and you were running it. Oh my God! Why
Wouldn't
didn't
have
that
been?
happen? Oh, Disney.
Hocus
Write
Pocus
it.
3.
Yeah, there we go. It's
The
awesome.
way it should be. No.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to be inclined to answer it a certain way, but I'm just going to say, be honest. Of all the films you guys have made, where does Hocus Pocus lay for you as far as either a phenomenal movie-making experience and/or just finished products among your favorites?
From stuff that we
That you've
actually
done, yeah.
participated in.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm going to put it at number 2,
What is number one?
Erie, Indiana.
Okay, cool.
By far, that was my favorite production to work on because it was just like a kid in a candy store every week. Like, oh my God, new set, new script, new
Right,
actors,
true.
new this, new that. It was just full excitement the whole time. I wish it continued. I really wish it did.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mine's number 2 as well.
Interesting.
First is Eyes Wide Shut with Stanley Kubrick, but
Kubrick.
it's
for
because
sure.
he literally changed my life. That experience was unbelievable. I mean, the finished product was what it was, of course, but my experience was what I treasured the most. But Hocus Pocus is definitely number 2 because of my childhood. It's basically my childhood. So, and I love it that it's everyone else's childhood too. So it's like I'm 16 nerding out that I was in a Disney movie when I watched them. And so I feel like I'm on the same wavelength as everyone else when they love it. And I'm like, you don't understand. I was nerding out too. So it's definitely number 2. And then I'm still friends with everyone. And, if Thora were here, she'd say it was her number 1.
You think so?
Yeah. She loved this movie. She said it was the best experience she's ever had on any other movie. And she's done, she was a child actor and worked with, many people. It was an Academy Award winning movie. And she just, loves this movie from top to bottom because of our bond, the 3 of us, and the experience too.
Yeah, the relationship on set was just like very family-like.
Yeah, it
You
was.
know, like us portraying, Thora being my sister. It kind of just felt like that. And I kind of feel like almost every production I've worked on, there's always been this like family, very close atmosphere with the
Yeah.
people that you work with. And I don't know if that's like a cast actor thing, but I always felt super close with crew, cast, everybody. At least for me personally. I'm sure there's some difficult people to work with.
I've had the
that
same
might-
lucky experiences too.
Yeah.
But this one was particular. I talk about Kenny Ortega all the time because I think he basically made it a magical place, and he hired people who could do magical things, and he just had that extra edge that made it special and Disney-like. And every day he would come in and welcome me on the set. Hello, it's just so like, come, let's see what we're doing today, and then ask us cute questions. I'm sure you all seen the 25th anniversary DVD, but that was like every day. He's like, who would you rather? And just, just ask us funny questions and make us engaged so that we would be excited to come to set, because kids can space out or get too stiff, and he just never wanted us to be that way. He just wanted us to have fun.
That's awesome. I'm curious, did either of you ever like dress up as a Hocus Pocus character for Halloween or anything? Or get any trick-or-treaters dressed as them?
I feel so bad. Thora should really be here because she loves Halloween, and I'm sure she's dressed up as one. I have not. What about you?
If you had that red hood still, come on.
For sure.
You could totally just wear that every
For
year
sure.
and be like, this works.
God, such a dumbass.
I never have.
Why did I not get that hood? Go ahead. No. go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say I never have, but so many people are like, why don't you just dress as Max Dennison for Halloween? Because it's basically being myself, but...
I want to see you dressed up as Ice.
Ice, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, the old, what does he have, like a fedora or like a rain hat?
I want to see the
the
haircut. That's what I want on the back of the head. Come on. That'd be pretty awesome.
And how about them? They're just the bullies, like Ice and Jay.
Their
so
chemistry is really unique. Watching them work together was like, everything was super spontaneous, and they just got to ad-lib and do a lot of fun things. So
I saw Jay on
I
This
love
Is Us
them.
recently. Anybody watch This Is Us? I'm sitting there watching like, he's from Hocus Pocus. Like, it's crazy. So that was fun.
And they're the nicest guys too. See, we just had fun the whole time.
That's awesome. I think we got a little bit of time. It's a small room, so I'm going to open it up. If anybody wants to raise a hand and ask a question, anybody?
Raise your hand.
Nobody.
Raise your hand. If
Nobody
you
has a question. Therefore, I did an amazing job. No, you got a
No,
question.
there's
Let's
two
go.
here.
We'll go front row and then right behind. Front row here.
Did you get to keep the cross trainers?
Did you get to keep the cross trainers? That's
No cross trainers, but I did manage to steal one of those bikes.
Really?
The green Haro bike, they had 5 of them, because whatever reason, and I begged the producers, I'm like, please, can I have this bike? I love it. And they were like, all right. So that was, oh, actually, it's kind of funny. My dad was digging around in his garage, and he's like, I have some memorabilia and stuff from this and that. I found the tie-dye shirt.
Oh!
I actually have the tie-dye shirt I was wearing.
That's awesome.
And maybe for this Halloween, I'll be
Wow.
Max Dennison.
Oh my gosh.
I got to get a wig.
I like it. I like it. Bill actually still has book. One of the books.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you told me that. Yeah.
With the animatronic?
No, not the animatronic.
That is in Florida Disney, I think. Yeah,
Oh.
the kids ran around with.
The book that you all ran
Everybody
around.
to death when you hold it up.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because we had a few different
that one,
versions. But there was definitely the eyeball one, yeah.
Yeah. There was another question I don't want to miss right behind. Go ahead.
So I'm going to ask two, if that's okay.
No, only one. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Do you guys get tired of being asked how was Hocus Pocus? Because I know some celebrities are just like, oh, I hate talking about it.
First question was, do you get tired of being asked about Hocus Pocus?
No, I really don't. Because again, I feel like I get brought back to my, the feeling of me being a kid again, and what harm in that is there, and it's just fun. And I get it. I get some people are just like, oh, that was my, so long ago. I've done so many other things since then. But again, it was one of my most treasured times, so I feel I could talk about it forever.
For me personally, I would say no. I'm not tired of talking about it because I kind of like dipped out and disappeared for the last, 15, 20 years. So like only now I'm starting to talk about it again. It brings back all these like fond memories. And yeah, I guess I'm not tired of talking about it yet.
Yeah.
I actually remember. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was
Just said
going to
yes.
say I remember seeing you at the 25th anniversary and being surprised because I recognized that you kind of left the industry and stuff, and I was so delighted to see the three of you together again because I kind of never thought it would happen
It
publicly.
was kind of some wrangling to get him to do that.
I was
I think
gonna say they were like, come on, do it, and I'm just like, you know what? For you guys, I'll do it.
That was very cool.
Kenny actually, he was the one that was like, come on, just do it. And I had like my agent from when I was a child contact me. I hadn't spoken to her in like 15 years, and she's like, you should do this. Come on, and this and that. And I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Before we run, I do want to touch on a movie. Who's seen Matinee? Any Matinee fan? Anybody? Do you guys not even know of the movie Matinee? I love it. Oh my
Also,
god!
another real fun production.
Really, John Goodman plays like an Alfred Hitchcock type of character. He made like a silly sci-fi horror movie, and you're in it. And it came out the same year as Hocus Pocus, '93, I believe.
Maybe I filmed it the year prior.
So you
So
shot
I
it
filmed
before.
it in '91, and it might have come out in '92, maybe '93.
It was '93, but
Maybe
whatever.
earlier in the year.
Check it
You never
out.
know.
Regardless, check out Matinee. Really, really fun.
Cool movie, especially like the last scene, the theater scene. Where
Yeah.
everything's
Oh.
rumbling and
I
falling
auditioned
apart.
for Matinee. I didn't.
Did you
get it.
really? That would have been so funny if you two had done both of
I
those
know,
back
right?
to back.
Wait,
Oh,
I probably wouldn't have gotten it if I had
so
just done that movie.
Kelly Martin was my love
Yeah,
interest. Is
I
that the role
auditioned for
you
that
went
part. Yeah.
That's
and
so
Lisa Jacob from Mrs. Doubtfire was in that,
Yeah.
and I just saw her at 90s Con, like, what is that, 30 years later? I'm like, oh my God, are you
I
doing
know she's
amazing.
nice too.
I
her.
love it. Well, we're going to wrap things up in a second. I just want to mention, if you guys are big fans of Hocus Pocus, I have interviewed a bunch of the people who have made the film. So check out DisneyCoastToCoast.com or just search for Disney Coast to Coast, Disney with a Z for lawsuit reasons, on your favorite podcast app. Before we go, any last thoughts about just the memories of Hocus Pocus and or just the unbelievable fact that we're talking about it 29 years later after it was a massive flop?
I just want to thank
Keep
everyone.
mentioning what a massive
It's
flop it was.
amazing to me, though. You don't
great.
understand,
I'm
like,
glad, like the most important thing
Massive-
is, by the way, it was
Flops and
a massive
virgins.
flop, in case
Yeah.
you guys didn't know.
I just, do you want to know why I say it so much? Because I love to shove it in Disney's face. I'm like, honest to God, there would not be a sequel if it weren't for these folks.
100%.
It's
Disney
true.
didn't want to make
The
it.
fans made it what it is.
They didn't-
So
they-
F you, Disney.
Yeah, especially since you're not in the sequel. But,
Yeah.
but sincerely, like, they wanted to forget about the film.
They did.
And that's why I mentioned it's a flop, not because I think it deserves to be a flop, but it's these folks.
I mean, the
So-
actors were a flop, but
But yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts, or we're going to wrap it up here?
no.
No, we just want to thank everyone for being amazing fans for almost 30 years. And again, it's amazing. Your children, some people are grandchildren are now watching it. And it's just, I can't wait to show it to my son one day and, be part of the legacy too. So just thank you so much for loving it as much as you do and watching it during Halloween or just any time of the year, and which is what a lot of people do. When they're feeling low, they're like, I just watch it just because it's fun. And thanks to all the boyfriends or girlfriends of your significant other that makes you watch it. And then you just sit there and go, oh, yes, honey, it's great.
You're
So
like,
thank you, too.
Yeah,
Excellent. We're going to end it there. Thanks, guys, for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.